Society.
Strangers. Strangers in society.
Strangers on the internet.
The secret.
Strangers.
Society, oh, welcome, stranger.
Secret to society. Strangers.
Society.
Welcome to the secret society.
Strangers?
Welcome back, everybody, to another meeting of the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. I'm Lee, just one of your guides through the strange and unusual, because I'm here, as always, with my today trusty time travelers, Jen and Josh.
What it do?
Hello.
Hey, guys, it's been a while since we've been actually together.
Yeah.
Magic of podcast. We didn't miss a beat. But Josh just got back from Amsterdam.
Yes.
Yeah.
World traveler.
A band.
He's back. Now we're all back in our right. Well, he got back from one trip, went on another trip.
Yeah.
So Josh hasn't been like in his home base for a long time.
Welcome home.
Yeah,
literally.
right? How does it feel to be home?
It's so nice to be back in my little cave around all my trinkets and baubles. That makes me feel like Ariel from the Little Mermaid.
That's how I feel in my office. That's awesome.
This is a thingamadoop, and this is a shibbity wop.
I got him everywhere. What do you want? You want to thingamabob?
Yep.
I got 20.
I got a dingle bopper over there somewhere.
Disney lawyers are listening real closely right now.
Yeah.
And say it. Say it.
Down.
Yeah.
Nice
So,
knowing you.
It's nice to be home. It's nice to be back in my original setup, get back onto a schedule. Because, a month and a half of travel was just insane.
that's a lot, bro.
That's a bit
lot.
much. Yeah.
Since we're talking about time, this whole episode, want to congratulate you guys. We've been official for a year. We have been publishing episodes since last February, so little pats on our backs for that.
We did it! Yay!
Yay!
Fireworks. Insert them
Insert
here.
firework noises, Jeremy.
Yeah.
So before we start talking about our episode, few little updates. I guess we should just kind of get out of the way. I did actually make a wish list for our trip to Gettysburg. So if anyone is so generous and would like to pick something on there for us to use on our investigation in Gettysburg, we would greatly appreciate it. And you can find it on Amazon. Just search Secret Society of Strangers podcast in your registry search, and we'll be right there.
Help us find the ghost.
We'll get to the bottom of it. We'll find every goddamn ghost in Gettysburg.
Every ghost in Gettysburg. Ooh, that should be a shirt.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Because you guys don't know, but on the list, I have the backpacks, the Ghostbuster backpacks. So we're going in.
Ooh, nice. Bring some
we
home.
can get a ghost as a guest ghost.
All right.
Yeah.
God, I
Add
can't
it
believe
to the bubbles.
It's just like headphones, just like floating.
That'd be great, man. Look, instant fame. Only people ever.
Wire. I can see a wire.
Yeah.
No wires here. Just like
No wires. No strings on me.
Just getting choked all of a sudden. You're like, ah! No. But seriously, if anything, there's some really big things I kind of don't expect people to get. But hey, you never know. Some little things. If you guys just want to help out, we appreciate it.
Yep.
We have 224 days until that. We just did the math.
Yeah.
Real
No
quick in my head.
pressure. No pressure. No
Real
nothing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So in this episode, we're diving into time slips. We're going to go through 3 different stories, 3 different men mysteriously unmoored from the shackles of time. They have no explanation for their departures, their returns, or their spontaneous appearances.
Ooh.
And then witnesses are left pretty much just questioning the fabric of time.
As
My
one does.
Daily
Yes.
regiment. Every morning I wake up, I'm like, oh, what is time?
I either have way too much of it or not enough of it.
Yeah, I was
Can
gonna
I
say
be
my thoughts
unshackled
are
by time?
where did it go?
Oh,
Yes, pretty much.
I was just talking about that with someone too. Like July is gonna be here before you know that shit. And you're like, oh fuck. Yeah. So imagine you're walking down a street you know your entire life, super familiar. All of a sudden, you start to feel a little weird, maybe a little bit heavier, a little wavy on your feet, and then
Just go
boom,
to Olive Garden.
just hungry. Just get a
my
motherfucking
gosh.
Snickers, man.
just getting all full up of pasta.
I just went there for the first time in like years, like a few weeks ago, and I was like, we left, we're like, this is the worst idea we've ever had, ever.
Yeah, there's a
Having
point.
money.
Yeah, there's a point in your life when like you're a young adult and you're like, yo, Olive Garden, here we go, big dinner.
Uh-huh. No.
And then all of a sudden
Unlimited
you're
soup,
like,
salad, breadsticks. Let's go.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
those frozen breadsticks they microwave like 10 seconds before they give to you.
Hey,
Here.
man, they put crack in them breadsticks though.
Yeah, that crack is like they just dip them in melted butter and here you go. I put a little oregano. But you're walking down the street, you're feeling weird, a little queasy, maybe unstable, and then all of a sudden the world around you shifts. In a blink of an eye, the cars disappear. The paved roads that were there are now cobblestone, and all of a sudden the air smells like coal and all the other things we talk about from the Victorian era. The people are
Depressing.
no, this episode great. So yeah, thanks for saying that. This episode I get to say there's only a tiny little disclosure. One
All right.
little
Tiny
tiny
disclaimer.
violence.
Nice.
Baby violence.
You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah.
Infantile violence.
Yeah.
That's
not
not what we
towards
meant.
not towards babies. It's just so little, it's a baby. But everyone around you now is dressed in Victorian clothing, and they're looking at you with bewilderment and just straight up like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? But
Pockets.
Ah,
and pants, sir?
Women in pants.
What?
yeah.
But before you can even think that, boom, you're back on the street that you know.
Oh, boo.
Now, was that a hallucination? Was it a mind trick? Acid flashback? I don't know.
The judge.
Did you slip through time? Dun, dun, dun.
Ooh,
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna say it's that
Okay.
Olive Garden that's coming back.
No, it's still my head was still
That was
there.
food poisoning, motherfucker.
You ever had food poisoning so bad you hallucinated you were in the Victorian era?
Can you imagine your friend just like, yo, why'd you call me Sir William? Like, what the fuck?
I swear, we felt like we had the plague after eating.
Oh,
like
no.
we can't do this.
It's too
But
funny.
seriously, sorry, Lee.
No, hey, I was gonna say I'm all about food poisoning, but I'm not. But
I'm not
I'm all about interjections. That's cool. Time slips have been recorded for thousands of years for people across the globe. But unlike time travel in movies where people get into a time machine and they go to a deliberate place and they're like scoping out dinosaurs, time slips are spontaneous. The people that experience them claim that they never left their physical place, only the time around them changed.
Ooh, okay.
Right, are you guys ready for our first story?
Yes.
always.
First, I almost forgot.
But wait,
I always got to throw this out here. I think this is just something that, first of all, if you're new here, welcome. But if you're also new here, the stories that we tell in this podcast when we're talking about folklore or, crazy tales from the internet, none of us are claiming truth to these. We merely present them. We get joy from sharing them with you guys and then just, giving you guys stuff to question throughout the day. And if you're liking them, you have to subscribe,
Yes.
like, hit the notification bell.
Ding.
just like that.
Yep. And if you're listening to us right now, 5 stars immediately. I'm not asking, I'm telling.
Yes.
And comment
them.
because, why not?
No, we
talk to-
want to talk to people.
Talk
Yeah.
to a brother.
Let a guy know.
Let him cook. All right. So let's get into our first story. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our first story is going to take us to 1935 in the UK. It involves a man named Sir Victor Goddard. He grew up. Yeah, it's a pretty
Strong
good
name.
name.
Very strong name.
Because he grew up the son of a wealthy doctor.
Mm.
And this little kid seemed destined for like military service his whole life. He ended up having a military career. He went to the Royal Naval Colleges at Osborne and Dartmouth, and he served as a midshipman, which I don't know what that is, in World War One.
Still.
Somebody in the Navy, email us, send us a comment. It's a midshipman.
Let me know, because to me it just sounds like he stands on the middle of the ship. He's like, "This is the middle, guys. I did it.
It's right here."
Later, he moved to the Royal Naval Air Service and was a pilot with the Royal Air Force.
Dang.
Also served in World War II.
Wow.
Guy's got a resume,
Was
Yeah,
man.
it's a
Ace.
badass. Yeah.
Mhm. So this is back in 1935. He's on a training/recon mission. So he is flying from Andover, England to Edinburgh, Scotland. On this trip, he is kind of wanting to check out an airfield that he knows about and get the condition and kind of just report back what kind of condition it is when he gets back round trip back to Andover. He is flying, this varies, a DH.87B Hornet Moth, which is a bi-wing plane. So picture those planes with the double stacked wings.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Or a Hawker Hart, which is also a bi-wing plane. So in varying stories, it changes between those two planes. I couldn't get a definite answer what he was flying. By all means, this is supposed to be a routine flight there, land, couple days back. As he's flying along, he sees the airfield. He wants to look out, so he goes over the airfield. This is Drem Airfield in Scotland. Now, this airfield, as he goes over it, is abandoned. Like foliage growing over all the bunkers. The runways are filled with cows grazing. So there's really no airfield. It's kind of just reclaimed land. But hold that thought, because he lands, turnaround mission. He's going back. He's flying back. He takes the same exact path back. As he's going back, he encounters a storm out of absolutely nowhere. This storm rolls in. It's wild. The torrential rains are blinding him. The winds are violently throwing him around. These planes are relatively small. If you know what like a little bi-wing planes are, they're not F-14s or, they're not giant jets. So he's fighting for his life in this thing. But the bizarre thing about this storm is that this storm has yellow clouds. So as he fights for control, he actually loses control and starts nosediving. He pulls up on the yoke and tries as hard as he can to climb out of the storm, which seems to be going on forever. But just as he thinks he can't climb any higher, he breaks through the storm and everything is clear. All of a sudden, like, storm over. He is now trying to figure out where he is and get his bearings and like kind of map his location. And he realizes he's coming up on that Drem airfield. So it feels pretty good. Cool. I recognize this. But as he's looking at the airfield, he realizes that the airfield is now fully functioning.
Oh.
So no more cows, no more overgrown bunkers and broken down runways. This place is like bumping. Mechanics, planes neatly lined up on the runway, like ready to go. Gets even a little bit stranger for him. At the time, he sees these mechanics and they are wearing blue overalls and the planes are painted bright yellow. And the first thing he thinks to himself is that the RAF's current planes are only painted light gray, green, and brown.
Okay.
And the RAF issues standard brown uniforms to all of their mechanics. So seeing these two things, he's very confused on how it wasn't there, and now he's seeing what looks like potentially a foreign enemy there, or other army, because the colors don't match what he's used to.
Instantly confused. Just like, what the hell's going on?
Right? And just, okay, I'm going to keep flying, I guess, because I have no choice. He starts to try to take note of a few other things, and one of the other things he notices is that these planes lined up on the runways ready to go are mono-wing planes. So these planes all have one wing, and they're bright yellow, like I said. So he is like, I don't even know what these things really are. Like, he's never seen planes like that. The RAF doesn't have planes like that. Before he can really get a good look or circle back or anything, he's hit with the storm again, and he's sucked right back into those yellow clouds. Again, fighting to keep control. It lasts for a couple minutes, and he's somehow makes it out of the storm, and the rest of the flight home is absolutely routine, like nothing ever happened. He gets back. He's a military man, obviously, so he's a little hesitant to tell his superiors what happened right away.
Of course.
So he sits on it for a few years. He ends up eventually retiring and then giving a full recorded incident, a detailed incident report. Obviously, at that point, he felt freer from like constraints of like losing any kind of promotions or credibility amongst his fellow RAF members. Kicker, weirdest part of this whole story isn't that he went through a yellow storm. When he was going through, like I said, he saw those planes and those mechanics in colors that he didn't recognize. But by 1939, just 4 years later, the RAF did start training their yellow training plane, their plane's yellow. And they introduced a monoplane called the Magster, which became part of the RAF's new fleet. And the mechanics jumpers?
Navy blue.
Blue. You guessed it.
Oh my gosh.
So now we're left with the question, did Victor really just have a weird time jump? Did he have a weird premonition? Is it like just a deja vu and it was super intense? Or did like he really...
Well, do you know how many years later from his account to like when they started switching to like the jumpsuits and then the plane?
4 years later.
Oh, so he technically jumped 4 years into the future.
And
That's
saw
such a random 4 years.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, whatever the energy was in that storm or whatever, just
it's like we gotta find yellow clouds.
Right. I got them yellow clouds.
I wonder what would have happened if he tried to land.
It's a good question. Who knows? Maybe he would be stuck. Like maybe it was his momentum that kept him going. And the other thing, what you said, which could somehow be like an argument to further what he experienced. Like you said, just 4 years. But if we're talking about like time and the fact that, everything exists all at once, like it was more like he just went through a spot in folded time. Like since time exists, like time essentially linear. There is no time. Yeah, it's linear. Everything supposedly is already happened. So like
everything everywhere all at
like
once.
went in and out of like a timeline.
Oh, it's so weird.
Right?
Yeah.
Like picture like this is how I view it. Like a loop, right? And like that's your timeline. He's flying in that timeline. Normally you're just going around in the loop. But like for whatever reason, he got jostled and now he's cutting across the circumference of the loop. But in that circumference is like a 4-year time dilation. And then he's out on the other side and he's back in his loop.
Gotcha.
So weird.
That's how I try to make sense of this, if this is a real thing.
Shout outs to physicists.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind. We should do an episode on CERN and just have everyone yell at us because we don't know what we're talking about.
I'm so down. Because I know they're opening up interdimensional portals over there.
They smash tiny things together. That's all I know.
And everybody was freaking out about miniature black holes.
And they bumped us out of a timeline in 2012.
See?
Fuck that. This is not normal.
Mayans. They were right.
I've thought about that.
We all died and a collective consciousness went to the next universe. Yeah, I've
Mhm.
thought about that.
Yeah. Well, oddly enough, that incident was not Goddard's first incident with the paranormal.
Ooh.
Goddard was commanding a squadron during World War I when an air mechanic named Freddie Jackson was killed. This is the disclaimer part, guys. On the HM Naval Seaplane Training School, Jackson walked in front of a rotating propeller and died from his injuries.
Well, that's his fault.
That's why baby
Now this is why we have
violence.
signs that say don't walk in front of propellers.
Maybe not that. Yeah. You're right.
But
Poor guy. May he rest in peace.
that's a way
Not
to
haunt
go.
Josh.
ooh, wait a second. So on the day of his funeral, the squad, the crew, got together to take a picture at his funeral. And then they look at the developed picture, and oddly enough, there's a weird man in the top row of the picture. It was Freddie Jackson.
Oh, I love those.
So this theory is that he did not realize that he had passed yet. And when everyone got together for a photo, he just got together for a photo. So I actually do have a photo. If you're watching this, you're probably looking at it right now with him in there.
Do we get to see
supposedly.
it?
Yeah, I want to see the photo.
I wanna see it.
It's in your notes, guys.
Oops.
I guess I got.
We just got called out.
Piss.
Whoopsie daisy.
See, like this would be it. We'd be time traveling, and I bet you guys got the time maps.
No.
Oh,
No,
oh, cool. So I just
What's
don't know
that?
when to stop it.
I did, but I left them on the kitchen counter
No, we're just lost in space and time
with the
forever.
grocery list and everything else I was gonna bring.
I inevitably forget this grocery list. I write everything down, and I get there, and I'm like,
Oh,
fuck.
yeah.
I guess
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
winging
if
it.
If I go to
Yep.
the grocery store and I don't have a list, I'm so fucked.
I just come home with like tons of
Yeah.
snacks,
Just
gummy bears and
nothing
shit.
I need.
You guys. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Because at the moment, I'm like, yeah, that'd be real good right now.
I tried doing it on my phone. I was like, I can't. Just
It's
like,
not the same.
No, I have to write it down and
it's
scratch
not.
it off. Yeah, call me old
Mhm.
school. I lived in the 1900s.
Old school. All right. So you guys ready for our next story?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is there another yellow cloud?
No yellow clouds in this one.
I thought we
Is there a
cracked
ghost?
the secret to time travel.
No ghost.
Okay.
Unless maybe this man himself is a ghost.
Okay.
All right. So this story is going to take us all the way to 2006 in Kyiv, Ukraine.
No, thank you.
It's a normal day, normal people, normal traffic. Amidst the urban hustle and bustle, there's a man standing, gazing at the high-rise apartment buildings. By all accounts, his demeanor is like anxious, and he's kind of staring at the buildings with like bewilderment. Every person that passed him, he asked if they can get him to Peshnia Street. Nobody has heard of such a street, and it starts prompting speculation that this guy's just some tourist that just doesn't know where he is. He doesn't speak the language. He's lost. So, the locals are kind of side-eyeing him, but he catches the attention of two police officers. So this police officer and his partner approach him, and obviously they try to ask him, like, do you need help? Do you know where you're going? He, again, just reiterates, like, I need to find Peshnia Street. They whip out a map, and they ask him, like, here, point to the street you're talking about, like, on the map. So he goes to try to find the street, and all he finds on the map is a landfill. And there's no street by that name at all. So now, like, the police officers are confused. He's confused. The officers are, like, looking him up and down. He's got, like, this perplexing appearance. His clothes are vintage for sure, but they're in, like, perfect condition. They look brand new. He's got a camera around his neck. It looks like an antique, but again, like, mint condition, super, like, new looking. But what really catches these officers off guard is that when the man hands over his identification is from the Soviet Union.
Oh.
Yeah, that place that doesn't exist for like 2 decades at this point.
Yeah.
So obviously they're like, what the hell is this about? But they continue, they're looking at his document. His document says that he was born in 1932, which at this point would have made him like 74 years old. This identification card is in like pristine condition. Like if this thing was around for 75 years, it would be dust. And it was last stamped in 1958. Right now, before you ask, like, oh, is this some like grandpa that just forgot to like update his paperwork? Like, no.
I wasn't gonna ask that. I never.
Good, because this dude's slick. This dude's young. He looks like he's like in his 20s. So yeah, I mean, he's either what, like a vampire, or got that good line to the adrenochrome. Like,
he's got that adrenochrome hookup.
Yeah,
he is Pizzagate.
So obviously, naturally, the cops do with him whatever they do with a weird man on the street. Anytime they send him. No, this is only 2006. They send him to the people in the white coats in the clinic first.
Gotcha.
So obviously, this guy was like, I don't want to go to the fucking clinic. I just want to go to Tuscany Street. But he's facing clinic or being taken in for vagrancy. So he's now sitting in the clinic. While he's sitting in there, the staff is monitoring him, watching him like move around his room in the lobby, and he's interacting with the receptionist. But they note that he's got this uneasy demeanor, and he's got this like overall fascination with their modern technology. So the receptionist points out that he keeps looking at her phone, her mobile phone. And at the same time, so he's like really weirded out and on edge, but he's very reluctant to give over any of his belongings. In particular, that camera that he has around his neck, which becomes another layer of this perplexing puzzle a little bit later on.
Time traveling camera.
I know.
So first we got to let the good doctor come in. So enter Dr. Pavlov Kudrov.
Not Pavlov.
Dr. Pavlov.
No, not the dog, not the trainer.
Okay.
So he sat down with this mystery man, whose name, by the way, was Sergey Ponomarenko.
Ponomarinky dinky dink.
I think the same thing. That's how old we are. Sharon Lois and Bram, baby. Fucking old. We are old. All right. So Kudrov sits down with Sergey and asks him, what year do you think it is? Sergey's answer? 1958.
Oh, man.
That's a good year. Yeah.
So the doctor decides to just humor Sergey and say, well, okay, well, then how did you get to 2006? Like, Sergey says, get this. This is what Sergey says. Sergey said he's out for a walk. It's 1958 and he's doing his thing. He's got his camera around his neck. He's taking pictures of Kyiv. All of a sudden, above his head, bell-shaped UFO.
What?
Man's got a camera around his neck. Snaps a picture. Looks down at the camera to view the picture. As he looks back up, he realizes that, poof, he's in 2006. And that's when he starts looking for the street that he was formerly standing on.
Because that's not going to sound crazy to the doctor.
No, doctor's totally chill. Doctor's totally like...
Totally about it.
Okay, you can go.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
checks out. Yeah.
Have fun. No. He snatched that fucking camera from him. No, he didn't. Confiscated it, probably.
In an aggressive
Forcefully.
fashion, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the problem with the camera is that the camera is a actual antique. It is a Yima Flex, and the stock film for it has stopped being made in the 1970s.
Whoa.
So
Okay.
after a little bit of digging for like a photography expert, they find this man, Vlad Posner, who develops the film for them. And what's on the film?
The UFO.
Kyiv.
Oh.
But in 2006. Not in 2006. I'm sorry. Not in 2006.
So 1958 Kyiv.
Yep. Cars, people, the signs, straight out of 1950.
The Soviet Union, just everything.
Right in the middle of this, in the middle of his pictures, is Sergey wearing the same clothes that he's wearing right now.
Well, like he
What
had
the
somebody
hell?
take a picture of him.
Like he in
took a
pictures.
I know. I'm
that-
like trying to picture
Yeah,
1958
he
selfie.
probably just set it up on the tripod and like ran over and did a
Yeah,
picture.
set the timer and everything, and probably did it like 10
Weird.
times.
Yeah, like 100 different times. Like,
They don't have timers. What?
or maybe you
That's
got the
crazy.
little. I don't know.
Yeah, the little push button.
Either
thingy.
way, there's pictures of this dude.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So they're looking through these pictures, and as they get to it, the last picture on the roll is a picture of a bell-shaped UFO, like Sergey said.
Damn. So did they let him go?
At this point, they're like, "What the? Who is this guy? Either like what? Like a con
the
artist?
LARP ever?
Yeah, like a
Yeah.
yeah, or either that he's like an actual crazy person or like a super dedicated method actor. Like,
Actually studying my next role. I like to immerse
Whoa.
myself in my characters.
yeah, and you ask like what they do with him after that. They really didn't have much time to do anything with him because Sergey disappeared.
From the hospital.
From the hospital, Sergey, they have footage of him on the security cameras. Sergey is walking into his room and never walks out. Bars on the windows, so don't even think about it.
Yeah.
Only one door.
Damn, you got
Because-
Epstein.
Dun dun dun. The worst way to go.
Wow.
So like, did his camera disappear?
Yep, everything, all his belongings disappeared.
Oh man, because didn't like that photography guy, like, wasn't he developing his film and stuff? So like, the film just disappeared too.
No, there's
good point.
pictures of him. If you're watching this on YouTube, there should be a few pictures of Sergey popping up here and there as I'm talking.
Because yeah, that would be like a mind fuck. You're sitting there developing this film.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it
and they
dematerializes from your
Yeah.
hands.
Ah,
So that's interesting, though, that
So-
they got to stay, though.
wait,
Yeah.
I mean, now that you say
Wait.
that. Oh,
there's more.
okay.
The police dug into his background because obviously, like, who is
Yeah.
this dude that just disappeared? They found out that Sergey Ponomarenko actually did exist and he was reported missing, but in 1970. And when they tracked down his former girlfriend, who now is an older woman, older lady, she confirmed that Sergey vanished in 1958 for a few days and then reappeared.
Oh, what
But
the
then
hell?
he vanished again in 1970 and never showed up again.
Damn, he
couple
probably got eaten by a
years.
dinosaur.
I think that, or like you time travel to a place where like there's a building now, and now like you're under like you're like
You're just
like
underneath the building.
smacked
Oh,
into
that-
it, or like you're
oh, that
underneath
would-
it or something,
That'd be
or like
me.
because the world is spinning, like
Mm,
you like end up in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah,
oh,
that'd
that would
be
be
me.
so terrifying.
A couple years after he went missing in 1970, his girlfriend received a letter and a photograph. Well, a photograph with a note written on the back, to be exact. The photograph was of Sergey in Kyiv from 2050.
What?
On the back of it, he wrote his note and he ends it with, "I'll see you soon." He never showed up though.
Damn. I wonder
Sorry.
what 2050 looks like.
Yeah.
There's a picture of Sergey standing in front of a river in 2050 with Kyiv behind him, and it's just a city. You can't really tell. You guys tell us what you think.
What?
But again, we're lost in time, man. My guys didn't do their homework, so we're winging it.
I know.
Just
I
wait.
swear. I can't believe.
Uh,
Shame
all right,
on
all
us.
right. Fun had. All this hits a brick wall in reality. Everything that we just talked about, Sergey, the UFO, the disappearance, was all on an episode of a TV show in the Ukraine called Aliens. It's essentially ancient aliens for Ukraine.
Oh, so
What?
they have their own ancient aliens guy.
What?
In the beginning of the episode, there is a disclaimer that says very clearly everything on the show is a dramatization and none of it has been proven.
Proven,
So,
but
Yeah, so
so it could still be out there.
here you go. I just present these stories and leave them up to you guys. Time traveler? Did he even exist? I don't know.
That'd be a cool story, though.
Right?
I can't believe, yeah.
so we're not dressing that great in 2050.
Not
He
after
looks
this
like
run.
Columbo. He looks
After
like
this one.
Columbo.
He
We're
does
all
look
gonna be
like Columbo.
Dressed like Columbo. The sky's gray.
No, like Columbo and Poirot.
I thought more like Inspector Gadget. Just think he's a little.
There
Ah,
you go.
yeah, could be that too.
Maybe he's got all the gadgets too.
I guess we'll find out in 25 years if Kyiv looks like that.
Right?
Right.
We make it.
Yeah, we got this.
Insert ominous music.
Like, he disappeared twice.
Yeah.
White. And seemed to maybe have control of it after the first time.
I think it's the camera.
Excuse
I think
me.
it's his camera.
That'd be crazy.
The magic camera.
Time
Gotta
traveling camera.
Gotta get our hands on that camera.
It's probably in the Vatican or Smithsonian.
Probably.
So again, this is just me dreaming. I really thought about like if we could get together and go like down to Washington and go to the Smithsonian. Like, do you think I can call them like ahead of time and be like, hey, we're a podcast. Like, I want to like do a little bit like some interviews, some of your staff. I want to like talk to you guys. Like, can we go downstairs and like, can you show me around a little bit to like what's safe to show just a random dude? Do you think they do it?
I don't know.
They probably all been fired now. So
So we're just going anyway.
That's
Ocean's
it.
11 in this bitch. Let's go.
yeah.
But we don't even have to plan like an elaborate
Yeah.
heist with like 6
No.
double crosses because we could just
No.
walk up in that.
Yeah, you can probably
No,
just,
just
go
wear
on
a
down
Tesla
there.
shirt. No one will
Yeah.
question me.
There we go.
Doge, dude. I mean,
President Musk.
just got like my 20-year-old nephew to go. Like, just go in there and
Just go.
get me some bones.
Hey, man.
Yeah, act with
we know.
authority.
Right. Our
Anywho,
last and
okay.
final story. Ready?
Always.
This story is about a man named Vasile Gorgos. He is a 65-year-old farmer from a quaint village in eastern Russia. So it's 1991. He's doing his thing. He's working. He has to go on a business trip. So he gets a round trip ticket. He kisses his family goodbye. Now, this is a routine trip he's done many times. So his family's like, yeah, Pops, we'll see you in a couple of days.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Yep. But when Vasile does not return, his family begins to worry. They alert the authorities, which ensues a giant search party for a couple days or a couple months. They look for him. He's literally gone with zero trace, like no clothes left behind, no like, oh, I saw him on a security camera or anything. It's 1991. There are cameras, not as much.
Yeah, they're gonna be terrible quality.
And his return ticket was never used, never checked in at any airport. Decades pass. He becomes essentially a memory to his family. His kids grow up and they're living their own lives. But then out of nowhere, the family claims that a car pulls up one day and out of the car steps Vasile himself.
Daddy's home.
Aged but unmistakably the man who had left 30 years ago. Yeah, this dude
He'd be
just
like 95, right?
yeah. Yes,
You
exactly.
just
Yeah.
wouldn't believe the travels I've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Layovers, let me
I
tell
hope
you.
I can get out of a car at 90.
Yeah, no shit.
The way they describe it actually is almost like he was pushed out and left. Like they peeled out before anyone could really see the car, or before they actually even noticed who got out. Like it took him a second to be like, "Oh, Dad."
What?
Forgot
He's-
about you.
He's dressed in the same clothes he left
No.
in 91, and they're like clean, not changed at all.
Except for he's just changed.
He's just
He
older.
looks 95.
He is actually older, which actually perplexes the doctors because they do their tests and they try to figure out what the hell happened to him. And the only thing that they can point to is that he's got slight like neurologic changes, which I guess at 95, like bless him, he's lucky.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd show up and the shirt would now be like a tube top. It would like
Yeah, I'd have like one pant leg, like
Yeah,
long, one
my
pant leg
pants,
would be
like,
like
bursting out.
bikini cut high. Like I needed a leg for something.
Oh,
Yeah, I might wear like a,
Believe.
it
one
was
high
just-
heel with like
yeah.
the broken
yeah,
heel
I don't
and
think
another
it would
like
be pretty.
ski boot. Like, ah, I made it.
It's
When asked where he had been all this time, he gave a variety of answers. And some of those answers he stated, "I've been here the whole time." What do you mean?
I've been here. I've been there. I've been
Other
everywhere.
times,
Yeah.
he claims he has absolutely no memory of where he went. He has no memory of his daughter and his son.
Aw.
So he knows that these people, obviously, he got dropped off there. He doesn't really remember them as his daughter and son. And the perplexing thing that the family keeps throwing around is that he's in these clothes that he left in. And what does that mean? That means like what, he fold them up and throw them in like a Ziploc and wait 30 years and be like, "Oh, it's time to come back to my family now. I got the milk." Like, put these clothes back on real quick.
yeah.
Like, because how do you keep your clothes like that for 30 years?
Right?
There's no way.
There's no
Mm.
way.
So that's literally the end of the story. He's back. This was years ago now, so he might be dead. So this is 2021.
One?
So he might be dead by now. I didn't check it. But
Dude, his story didn't change.
he disappeared for 30 years and no one knows why. He's back with his
still-
family. There's photos of him as well with his daughter. There's photos, and he's just an old man.
But he
Chilling.
never remembered.
Never
Yeah.
remembered where he went. No one could ever tell. So theories are obviously out the wazoo, from like amnesia to some kind of cognitive disorder where he like was able to like disassociate and live another life. Did he just up and leave and live his life? Like, did he wanna? Did he have two families?
How do
He's
you
like,
keep
you know what?
the
I'm just tired.
clothes?
I'm tired of this second family. I'm gonna go back to the original family. Hey,
Right? I
guys,
grew
got
these kids up.
cigarettes and milk.
Yeah.
Just bust open the door with like a DVD player, and you're like, "Ha ha! It was why I was gone for so long. Look at this baby.
This baby right here.
We are gonna watch so many DVDs."
That's nuts.
The only thing I can think of that would possibly make this make sense, because this is the most tangibly real one that we've talked about tonight or today,
Yeah.
because this man's back and no one knows what happened to him for 30 years.
Guy
So-
doesn't even know what happened to him.
Only thing I could think that would preserve his clothes in that way is that this dude did something to get arrested and got put in jail for 30 years. They took his clothes, they cubbied him up, and then were like, "Oh, here, sir, you're free." And he just got in a taxi and went home, and like didn't tell his wife that he got arrested, his family he got arrested.
Yeah.
See, and
Or-
that's the thing. It has to happen in like the most secretive country.
Yeah,
You
no.
know, I'm like, great.
Ruski Soviet.
You're
'Cause if
never
this
gonna
had
figure it
been-
out.
No. Yeah.
No,
That's
no
what
one
happened
knows,
in North
man.
Korea.
That's who knows what
Yeah.
happened to this man? I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
But
wild.
yeah.
say he got ganked. Like he was just going out getting milk and whatever, and then some government agency ganked him.
Right? Or he did some
Oh.
horrible shit and actually got locked up for 30 years and
Yeah,
See,
some
in
Russian prison.
Siberia. Yeah.
right? Yeah. Like that Stranger Things jail.
Oh. So yeah, just because of where that one is, I could definitely entertain non-supernatural.
Oh yeah.
Just-
Easily.
What did they do to that man's brain?
Yeah.
Sat there and just zapped him over and
Yeah.
Mhm.
Spoke
Gave
out
him the
against
brain
Mada
scramblies.
Russia. That was my Russian accent for everyone.
over. I had one other story I cut out.
Let's hear it.
I'm trying to remember if I can remember it or if I have it somewhere else. Definitely won't remember the names if I go off the top. But let's see something. Pause.
I'd be mad if I got to time slip though, and like the first guy only went like 4 years.
Oh yeah, no shit.
And like
Really?
it only lasted a second. Well, that's why it's the time slip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm like, dang it, this isn't a cool story.
But you wouldn't even know it's 4 years in the future until like 4 years.
Well,
have
that's
passed.
true that it happened. That's true. So yeah,
But that would still be a fuck. You'd be like,
Right.
I knew this was gonna happen,
that's true. It would.
and then it just happens. You're like, see, I told you. I'm not crazy.
So these are like our deja vus then.
Yeah, they're weird. They're like weird instant slips where like you don't really know what's happening until you're back, or unless you know what you're doing and you disappear like Sergey and just pop in and out.
Yeah.
Right. I have my outline, so it's not like polished notes. But
That's all right. Let's
um,
have it.
so this one is from 1959. And it takes place in Tokyo, Japan. Story is there's a well-dressed Caucasian man who exits the plane in the Japanese International Airport.
Is this Japanese DB Cooper?
No, that'd be cool though. Well, actually, maybe a little bit, but not as slick. DB Cooper
Okay.
is slick.
Yeah,
DB
he's
Cooper was slick.
He supposedly walks into this airport looking completely normal. There's actually two versions of the story. It varies on like where the details are. So one has him presenting counterfeit money in the airport. One has him doing that earlier before he had gotten on the plane, and that's kind of how he had gotten on police's radar. So I don't know exactly which one happened. But he is supposedly carrying a $200 or $140 traveler check, $100,000 in yen from the Bank of Korea, and another $200 in yen from a Chase Manhattan bank. All this cash looks legitimate, right? Like
I'm
nothing.
sorry. What year are we in again?
59.
59. That's right. Okay.
So for whatever reason, like I said, I'm not sure if it raised suspicion at the airport or before the airport. Raises suspicion. They start inspecting his documents. They're looking over his documents and everything looks legit, right? Except for the place where his ID says he's born. So he has stamps from all over Asia, all the embassies, but he has this point of origin that is this place called Torad. Customs is like, bro, no, like, where are you really from?
Horrid.
Yeah, he's super confused. Like, no, like, this is where I'm from. Like, I'll show you. Give me a map. He goes to point it out on the map, and he's now confused because he's looking at the map, and the map says Andorra. He has no idea what Andorra is. He claims that this place Torrid has been here for hundreds of years and has this rich culture, this rich history, and like it's a place for real. Again, they detain this guy. They're like, okay, come with me. Put him in the back room. Gloves go on. Everything though looks legit, and he's not like agitated. He's not like upset with the police officers. He's just genuinely confused on like, why are you presenting me with a map that doesn't have what I know a map has on it?
Right.
And he's trying to explain to them like, nope, like my ID is real. Like, look at everything is stamped. And the customs agents are like, yeah, everything is real except where this shit came from.
Yeah.
They have no idea where he came from or anything. They hold him for a while. And I think eventually what ends up happening here is that he gets put in jail for fraud or like, like counterfeit stuff. So he spends a year in jail. Never backs down from like what he said though. Like he's like, I was from Torad, like that's where I'm from. And the story goes, upon release from jail, he just vanishes into thin air. No one knows where this guy went ever again.
What the fuck?
There's
Dang.
varying versions to that ending. Like one has him like living in Japan for a little while, then disappearing. One has him being like arrested and disappearing in jail. Bottom line, he disappears somewhere. And I didn't go too far into it, but that's the other one.
Wow.
So did he just like pop into a different timeline, and then the other timeline, the place was just called something different?
That would be a fucking trip too.
I don't know. Yeah.
That's weird because he can't be too because he's familiar with like a customs process.
Yeah, he was chill. He didn't raise
So-
any other alarms except the fact that the amount of money that he was carrying was semi-suspicious. And he was a Caucasian moving around Asia with a lot of money.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, that sparked attention. And he was like, no, I'm from Torah.
Weird.
Nah, I'm from this place that.
And where did he point at?
Place he pointed to, it was called Andorra.
Where's
No.
that?
Where is that?
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna ask
It's
because
actually,
seemed
I
like you knew
do.
where it was.
It's not in your notes now, but there was a picture of it in the other one.
That is impressive,
Spain,
Josh.
France. I don't see anybody's underpants.
So Torad is what he said
Mhm.
that he was looking
Yeah.
for, right?
It doesn't
So-
exist.
Yeah.
So Torad refers to the ancient name for the island of Santorini.
Ooh. But is that not where we just were? That wasn't in this
No,
same place on the
No.
map.
that sounds Italian Greekish.
Super Italian.
Interesting.
Specifically, the ancient city of Thera, which was located on Mesa. I'm not doing that mountain.
So maybe they named this place after that. Maybe something in that timeline, something different happened there in the ancient world, causing them to name their city that.
There you go.
Napoleon won a different war or some shit.
He was probably a little
Oh,
taller.
yeah, it was killed off by a volcanic eruption in 726.
Ooh, and things get weird around volcanic energy.
So
Yeah.
anyway, just little side googing.
Thanks, man. That's what we
There
need.
we go.
I love the side Google.
Yeah. Shared a screen. We side
You,
Googled.
this is impressive. For people that didn't read
Hey,
the notes, this
Hands
is
off,
impressive.
Tom.
For people that didn't read the notes.
Coming through.
That's one thing I can say about Type B. We're used to working on the fly.
Well, that is time slip, guys. So
That was really cool. That was
I did like that.
interesting.
they're weird.
Yeah.
There's
Where
no
would you guys want to go to, like future or past?
I don't even know if you have like control over it.
Well,
But
I mean,
if I had
could.
control over it, I would definitely want to go to the future.
I'm going.
It's such a hard
past. It's
question. I
such a
think I'm going
weirdo.
past.
I don't know why. I'm
I
just.
think I'm going past.
Our future seems bleak to me. I just want to go to the past.
I
Quick
think-
peep and then go back.
Yeah.
Are we're coming back? We're going to the future and coming back, or we're going to the future and staying?
Go to the future and come back. We're slipping in time.
No. If I could go to the future and I have to stay, yes. Coming back, I don't think that shock of like knowing what happens in the future and coming back and then living up to that point,
Mm.
I would go crazy.
That's how I felt
That's
about
a good-
travel recently.
Huh?
Going to the future and then coming back.
Yeah, I can't do that shit. I wouldn't be
That
able
that
to do it.
would be. That's a good point.
My
to
brain
consider.
can't handle it. But
Yeah, I go to the past.
where would you go in the past if you
Ancient
could pick
Egypt.
somewhere? Egypt.
Ancient Egypt, for
Mm.
sure. I want to see how the pyramids were built. I want to talk to sky aliens.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I kind of want to see a Victorian seance.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Damn, man. Yeah. I also kind of want to see dinosaurs, but I don't want to get eaten.
Somebody's got to say dinosaur.
No, mm-mm. That's
Nah.
too
How cool
far.
would it be able to go there, see a dinosaur, and be like, "Hey, all you motherfuckers are wrong. None of these dinosaurs look like the things you've been making for these last 30 years. Like everything is different. Every guy's got feathers. They're all colorful. T-Rex
That would
has
be crazy.
wings, no arms.
I do love it. There's a meme. It's just like putting. It's like two archaeologists, like one from the future and then one from like our time, and they're like recreating bones and stuff like that. And it's just not what the animal looks like at all, based on the bones that they've
Yeah.
found.
Well, I think one of the best examples of that is if you look at the skeleton of a hippo.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you looked at the skeleton, you'd be like, this is some crazy, weird unicorn looking thing. Like, I don't know what the body shape is on this, but then you see it fleshed out and it's just this boop, big round fucking thing.
Yeah.
Can't account for that body mass.
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be cool.
I don't know. Well, guys, that was fun. We definitely will do more time travel because time travel is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that's
That
really
was pretty
cool.
cool.
Tell us where you'd go and when.
Yeah,
Future or
shout us out
past.
in the
I think
comments.
I want to see the dinosaurs, but I think I would go to the past no matter what. I definitely go to the
He's
past.
going to the past. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we've
where
done
would you
that
guys
I
go?
want to
Yeah,
like.
Tell
tell
in the
us.
comments.
I think tell us where you want, but I think maybe I'd want to go back to like Renaissance. Like I think I want to see like those writers and artists and stuff like
I just want to
Yeah.
go back to the
figuring
Dark
out
Ages.
this stuff or using this stuff like because they did stuff back then that like still were like what
Yeah.
alchemy, some of their alchemy and
Mm.
stuff like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Or
Philosopher's
just go
Stone.
back to the Dark Ages and see actually what happened.
Mm. Yeah, that's one we talked about before. We got to do a Dark Ages like missing time episode.
Yeah,
That's kind
the
of a time
void
travel
century.
thing too.
It is.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
that'd be fun.
Nothing happened.
No, I
Yeah, I
gotta-
know. Like it's called the Dark Age.
It's just nobody had a candle.
no lights, nothing, just dark. No sun.
Everybody's just sitting in their rooms doing
Yeah.
nothing.
In the bleak midwinter.
So future
Oh.
topics, obviously, we're gonna keep them coming. Stay weird, a little mix of our history stuff.
Mhm.
We got H.H. Holmes coming. Talked about Jack the Ripper, so we're gonna put something together for that
Oh,
guy.
big
Some new
news.
Ripper
I got a
details.
cat.
Kitty,
Cat.
kitty.
Whoa. We can talk about giant cats.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just what happened. I didn't know you had a lion, Jen.
Alien races is on the chart.
It's-
Maybe a giant alien race of cats.
That's Watson, my Bengal cat. So he is kind of big,
Watson.
but he looked really big. Yeah, I got Sherlock and Watson, and their names should have
Nice.
been switched totally because
That's always how it
Sherlock is not smart.
Ah,
He's not in here. We can talk shit about him, Watson. It's fine.
It's fine, Watson.
well, definitely got a lot of things. I got so many things planned. I don't even know where to start with this shit. I just start
Yeah.
babbling about different topics. But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Of course,
Yeah.
we love it. We really enjoy bringing this stuff to you, and we appreciate the support. And let us know what you want us to do, what you want us to cover. Correct us if I was wrong on any of the stuff I did today, because it could happen. It does happen.
It does.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to join us as a guest, suggest a topic, or have a story you want us to share, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at ssospodcast@gmail.com. For more behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive insights about SSOS, make sure to follow us on social media. And don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for listening to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. This show is an independent production, researched and crafted by our passionate team. But we couldn't do it without all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Embrace the unknown, for not all secrets are meant to be kept. Farewell, strangers.